Thank you. 2025-0106, introduced by Commissioner Palmer.
Mr. Chairman, this motion will need to be amended to represent, to reflect what we amended during the budget meeting.
Correct. Go ahead and make that amendment.
I move to amend it to decrease the fund from 250,000 to 225,000 out of solid waste.
One word, Mr. Chairman, can we get the resolution on the floor first and then amend once the resolution?
Sure. Motion on the floor, Commissioner Palmer, second Commissioner Roach. Now, any comments or questions?
He's got to read the resolution.
Yeah.
He's got to read the resolution. He's not read the resolution.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt, Chairman and member of the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners in regular session met this 27th day of January 2025. The following budget amendments are being requested as listed below as amended in the budget committee. We're increasing $250,000 into the construction from the solid waste fund, decreasing it out of the undesignated fund balance in the solid waste. We amended that in the budget to $225,000.
So everything on this page that says 250,000 is now 225,000 if this amendment passes.
Correct.
Any further questions or comments on that? Okay. So we're voting on the amendment only. Yes is to reduce it, no is to keep it the same.
Mr. Chairman, I have a request to speak, but it didn't come up.
Okay, we haven't voted yet. Go ahead and speak.
The Solid Waste Committee, we spent a considerable amount of time on discussing how much money we would need to do this project. And while we knew that hopefully it wouldn't take $250,000, we went ahead and appropriated it. Why did we do that? We did that because when we get at the middle of May and we need more money, and we don't have the money appropriated to finish the job, then we're going to go past the date when that solid waste over on 66 may be shut down. So I just hope we don't run out of money, and I'm confident maybe that we've got enough money to feed the 225, but I don't see any reason why we're voting on this, voting the Lord, because we did it because there's a reason. That reason was we need to get the job done before July 1. And if we have to come back and get more money, we're going to be up the creek.
Dane.
It was my understanding at the budget committee meeting, the reason that they voted to reduce it was basically fiscal responsibility. They had found a better deal on the stone than was initially anticipated, and in a show of good faith, instead of allocating a larger sum of money that they didn't think they were going to need to do, they were going to sit that money to the back and just allocate what they thought they were going to need, going off the basis of the new price per stone. Because initially they were talking of it being, I can't remember the exact, it was 40 something, and it went down to 25 essentially per load. If I remember correctly, they might be able to correct me, but.
Per ton.
Yeah, per ton. So I thought the reason that they reduced it was actually pretty responsible and was to show good faith for not wasting money.
You're correct in why that was done, Dane. Commissioner Palmer.
Mr. Chairman, Dane spoke on what I was requesting to speak about.
Okay. Any other questions? We're voting on the amendment to reduce the amount to $225,000. Yes is to reduce it, no is to keep it at $250,000.
11 yes, 2 no, 1 abstain.
Okay, that amendment is passed. Now we're going to go back and vote on the resolution as amended. Got a motion from Commissioner Palmer, second Commissioner Roach. Any questions on the resolution as amended? We're already voting, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Mr. Barrett.
Well, I was wanting to.
You need to vote, sir.
On the resolution as amended.
Resolution as amended.
We not have discussion on that?
I asked for it and nobody said anything.
I had a hand to.
but they were already voting at that point.
I can go to
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Baird.
All right.
Okay. If everybody agrees, I watched Mr. Bobo take the recording of the meeting. Appreciate Mr. Bobo doing that. And
Mike, can you speak closer?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yep, I watched the recording of the minutes of the meeting with the Solid Waste Committee, and there was a lot, in my opinion, there was a lot of numbers tossed out. There was different price quotes on fencing. One person, I believe, got a price quote on 8-foot fence. Another person got a quote on 6-foot fence. I didn't really hear any specific specifications on the fence. One of them had quoted fence for an acre. The other one got a quote for 2/3 of an acre. There was discussion regarding the type of gate, single gate, double gate. It had wheels on it. It was a sliding gate, just back and forth. Then the discussion went to rocks. Number 57 rock, number 67 rock. There was all kinds of different price quotes regarding the tonnage and the cost on the rocks. Then there was discussion on if the price included the haul fee. I heard tonnage on rocks costing anywhere from, I think, $19 all the way up to almost $30 a ton. The haul bill went from 65 cents per mile, 65 cents, 67 cents per mile, all the way up to $5 per load. So, to me, there was a lot of confusing information back and forth on the specifics. One thing I did pick up on through the recording, it was estimated to take 13,000 tons of rock to do it. So I calculated 13,000 tons of rock. That's the lowest price that I had heard during the discussion, which was $19. And just for the rock only, my interpretation of the $19, just purchase the rock only, you would need $247,000 just to purchase the rock. So I don't see how, if the rock itself is going to cost $247,000, then you throw in spreading rock, packing rock. There's a cap, I believe, $300,000, but I just don't see how $225,000 will cover it. I don't see how $250,000 will cover it. But anyway, on the flip side of that, I took $225,000, the amended amount. I divided that to $19 a ton, and you're only going to be able to purchase, estimated, 11,842 tons of rock. The estimate that you're going to need is 13,000, so you're going to be short there. On the high side of it, of the tonnage, you take $225,000 at the high price, $30 a ton, then you're only going to be able to buy 7,500 tons of rock. So, to me, the numbers and the estimates and stuff it's all over the place.
I have the sheet that was given out at the committee meeting. The price of stone from bulk materials is $40.88 per ton. a rough estimate of the cost of the parking lot stone is approximately $66,000. So this came from Joe Parrott, the engineer. I don't know where the figures you have were obtained from other than listening to the meeting, but this is what we had in front of us at that meeting, so I just wanted to clarify that. Commissioner Palmer.
Mr. Barrett, bouncing off what Mr. DeWitt is saying, the cost of the fencing between $35,000 and $45,000 based on who is selected to install the fence at the high mark. That is at an acre. If we stay under an acre, TDEC's not involved and we don't have to go to certain standards. The stone, that is also dependent on how much stone comes involved when we get some excavation on that hillside. In East Tennessee, we do have a lot of stone in our dirt, so that can also offset some of the costs. Mr. Lilly, I believe, is present.
I am.
Would you like to come up and help speak on some of this since you were in that meeting also?
Well, as much as I can, I will. I think Mr. Gillum said it best earlier. You need to have people who have done it before, and I have not. So that's why we have Joe. That's why I hired an engineer. The estimate he came in with was $250,000. And I understand that the budget committee, because we do get a little better price with the state bid through the highway department for rock. So I think Joe is looking at this in worst case scenario. The fencing difference, we need a 6+1 fence. That's what we use at all our convenience centers. That's a 6-foot fence with a single row of barbed wire across the bottom. Joe went out and got quotes for 8-foot fences. That's why you're seeing the difference in the fence quotes. And the size of the lot, 2/3 of an acre would be much larger lot than any of our current convenience centers now. I also mentioned the gates. I'd like to have, I think they call them gantry gates that slide back and forth. Those are fairly expensive gates, $3,000 or a little more a piece. If we go with the old style swing gates, we could cut some costs using them. So, as I said, that's why we have, that's why we need people that have done it, because I'm in the dark, really. I'm trying to gather as much information as I can. And, you know, I talked to Mr. Parrott today. We've already got the site survey done, the topographic survey done. He's almost complete with the grade plan. He's continuing to work on the site plan, which is the layout. There's also a turn lane plan, permits that he's in the middle of working on. And he will be ready to put out the grade work bid in a matter of a week or so. That's another thing. Once that grade work starts, we've not drilled any holes. We don't know what's in that ground. I mean, we're going in and we think we've got a lot of good topsoil there. But you know, I worked in the landfill business for many years, and they start digging holes and finding pinnacles of rocks. You know, there's additional costs. And I think Mr. Plonk said it right. I mean, we're on a timeline, a deadline. And if we exceed that and run out of money, 113 will close down. And people will have to go to another site until we can get the new site open. So that's really all I can answer on that. At a minimum, we've got to get the 225 through today because we need to start work.
We need to start paying bills. Commissioner Trent.
I would like to recognize Miss Christina, if that's who that was. I think the
Yes.
public needs to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, our group came up with some questions at our own meeting last week. One of them was, are we excavating all 4 acres of the property that was purchased?
No.
Only the section for the community center. Okay. Are there bids going out for these various things, or is it all contracted under one individual?
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of what Mr. Parrott is doing, so he's gonna prepare, once we get, well, we have to have money approved before we can actually put a bid out. So once we have money approved, there'll be a bid for grade work, which may include compacting the dirt and laying the stone. And then we'll do a bid for fence, concrete pads, electrical work that we need done. So yes, it's not going to be a one large bid. It will be kind of cut up into sections so we can hopefully get the best price possible and not just have one contractor that's going to reap all the benefits of the building.
There will be bids, except state statute says we can't let out bids until we have the money in place to pay for it. So that's what, we're just trying to make a budget amendment tonight to move some money.
Thank you.
Commissioner Clones.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I respect my colleagues, Mr. Palmer and others on the budget committee, but I feel like that it's in the best interest of this project that if they withdrew their resolution and leave it at 250. We don't know what's coming down the line, just like the man just said. And it's nothing personal, I love you. And I think you're a great asset to county commissioner.
Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Collins. This is the exact concern I brought up in the budget meeting too. That we have the funds in the solid waste fund available to pay for this. It does not interfere with property taxes, will tax, does not interfere with taxes in no way.
And if we don't use it, it's gonna go back.
Exactly. And the reason I voted for it in budget committee was in good faith because we didn't know we had a price decrease on rock. I was hesitant about that, but I do agree with you. I think it needs to stay at 250 and, work to bring that number down. So I'm okay with withdrawing that amendment and leaving it at 250.
We've already voted on the amendment.
Well, I thought we did, yeah.
Well, we can amend it back to 250. Well, I'll make that motion to amend back to 250.
All right, hang on just a minute. Commissioner Thacker. Thanks, Mr. Lewis. Commissioner Thacker. Okay, Commissioner Trent, you're back up. I'm sorry, Jason. Jason's next.
Okay.
Thank you. So when we met in the budget committee, we reviewed the quote that was given to us. The quote that was given to us was based on a projected cost of, and I do believe it was $40 per ton of rock. And the simple thing was to ask someone in our county who buys a lot of rock how much he pays for rock. And that's our highway superintendent who happened to be there. He said we pay considerably less. So when we actually asked for the amount that they pay, I think it was $19, I wanted to drop it lower than $225. And the reason being because if you're projecting at a $40 a ton cost, and you're not going to get $40 a ton for that, then why allocate the money to do that? Because I know at the end of the day, we're a county commission and we work for local government, but I don't really work for local government. I represent the voters. And I don't know when we've ever said, here government, take a high quote and just give us the money back if you don't use it all. I don't know that works all the time. So why not go ahead and limit ourselves and show good faith, as Robbie said earlier, to our taxpayers, because I don't know if y'all realize this last budget season absolutely whooped us. And if we don't show some good effort at trying to cut some costs, and you know what, if we allocate 250, if we allocate 500, and it costs 200, and we get 300 back, I don't believe anybody in this local government's crooked. I don't believe anybody's taking any money. I don't believe anything like that's going to happen. But at some point, we have to say, you're going to have to not buy the Cadillac. You're going to have to sell and buy the Chevrolet. So that's the reason why we brought the quote back. And at $225,000, when you figure based on what Mr. Jones told us the price of rock was, we actually increased the amount to 25 instead of, I believe 19 is what you told us, Mr. Jones, if I remember correctly. We actually increased that amount over what he told us he pays for rock so that we would have a cushion. So with $225,000, we still built in a cushion based on the quote, Mr. Barrett, that we were given by Mr. Parrott. So to say that we are not building in a cushion is inaccurate. We are. Actually, we're probably building in more of a cushion. We're just using more accurate numbers that was given to us by someone that buys rock. So with that said, I absolutely will vote against any amendment to go back to $250,000. Keep it at 225. Based on what we see, based on the evidence that we collected, 225 will be enough to get the job done. And if it's not, then we're paying too much for supplies when we could get it at a rate that the county gets it through state bid. So that's my 2 cents. That's the reason why we voted.
Commissioner Trent.
With all due respect, I think we thought the Cadillac when we thought the property, that's nearly there. It's undone, $100,000. Mr. Lilly, I have a question. Has Mr. I heard you touch on this just a minute. I worked in engineering for 20 years. I'm not an engineer, don't have an engineering degree. I've got a business degree. But you run a little bit. Are you saying that they haven't done any core drillings? They don't have a contractor to come in to do core drillings to see what?
As of now, no core drilling has been done.
No. They're not going to be done. No
We can't do it without moving the money over.
Okay. That's not the way we did it at Eastman, but we're not.
Well, Eastman could spend their money before they got it, but we can't.
Well, they used to make money too. They made money when I was.
They are not playing by state government rules.
Well, I don't care whose rules you're playing by. When you start working on property and you're gonna build things and excavate and everything, you do core drillings. You might ask anybody. I'm not stupid.
Commissioner Barrett.
Well, like I said, I watched the tape, the video recording of the meeting that I'm assuming Mr. Bobo taped and recorded. And according to the transcript of the thing, somebody asked how many tons of rock was it estimated to need, and he come out 13,000 tons. And somebody at the meeting said, wow. Anyway, long story short, you take 13,000 tons of rock at $19 a ton, it's going to cost you $247,000. Now, I'm not advocating raise the bid price, go down, whatever. I'm just saying, if what I think I heard on that tape is correct, then it's going to cost you $247,000. I wasn't at the solid waste committee meeting, but 7 people plus whoever was there in attendance, plays the tape. 13,000.
Okay, I think the point's made, Commissioner Barrett. Anything else?
That's all.
Commissioner Barker.
Call the question.
All right, call for questions. Now, we want to leave, the amendment to go to 225 has been passed. We're voting on the resolution as amended at $225,000. The questions have been called, so let's go ahead and vote.
Yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
All right, resolution carries.